Nice. So, sorry, my ISP, they're doing the thing. I was disconnected. Okay, enough with the fun. Uh-huh. So, where were we? I understand that some people are having challenges regarding their modules availability on LMS. Worry not. You're not left behind. We just covered the first week, last week on Friday, which was entirely MongoDB. And when you go to the recordings, if you have access to this, you can just check your email or somebody can just share the recording for the last class on WhatsApp. And as soon as LMS module is available to you, just take on and go and do the assignments. And then everything is going to be okay. Nevertheless, we covered a few things regarding MongoDB. And first of all, let me look at the attendees. Yeah, I can see some people are still sharing. Amos is sharing the invitation link to other people. Let me mark that. Because some people are not part of Manstack. They're here to joyride, hence giving us bad impression of numbers. I'd be here saying that I have so many learners online, but it doesn't reflect the same on assignments. For also on our side as instructors, we also have issues with the LMS. For us, we're just patient. We're just waiting for them to be. You can see, not all the modules are there. Even if you refresh, it is not available. So just be patient, just like we are. Everything will be fine. This session is currently being recorded for later review. Amos, kindly stop sharing your invitation link to other people. We also have Khalipa doing the same. We have some people are trying to change their name, but no problem. I see. We have Mary, Karago, Lynette. I can see you people. I can see you. So having in mind that we'll be having a drop-off cohort, I think at the middle of the specialization. So if you are risking using someone else's credentials, I can just show you how we mark our attendance. And you cannot escape that method, by the way. We are really keen. We are very careful. We are really careful. Let me just give you a sneak peek on how we mark your attendance. So this is how you mark it, that automated way. So those who are attending classes, I can see, just take your data, which you submit here. So this is the data that is coming from Zoom. I put it here, and then it marks the attendance. As you can see here, for week 1, we have the classes. So if you have Amos, Amos is going to check out, and if you're using Amos link, the registration link from Amos, we are not going to find you here. Then the trend is going to go on, and then we are going to be following up. I'll start the follow-up for those who have not attended the class and know why. Because for now, I saw that only like 600 out of 1,000. Yeah, 600 out of 1,000 attended the classes. So there's no escaping. But don't panic. Don't panic. This is not high school at all. This is not high school at all. So we have an hour or less. Is my screen visible? Thumbs up if my screen is visible. So if you're not able to see my screen, kindly rejoin. Anyway, let us proceed. So, MongoDB, this is a very interesting module, and don't be afraid of using vibe coding. Don't be afraid of using AI to learn. That's how you learn, by the way. That's it. That is how you learn. So as per the email that I sent you early this morning or this afternoon, maybe, for those who received it late, the instructions were clear what I was going to tackle. That is just a recap of MongoDB, what we did, and the preparation for the upcoming Express.js session, which is this Friday. So you only have tomorrow. And then on Friday, boom, we are going to have that session. So let me disable these charts. We need to focus in class right now. Isaac, kindly follow the instruction on the assignment. It is pretty much clear. You have two markdown files. That is README file, and you also have the week one assignment markdown file. Instructions are already tabulated there, but not to worry, not to worry. So what I'm going to do a catch up for now is how can we be able to take MongoDB and make it work on JavaScript? This should be able to help you work your assignment really well. How do you take MongoDB and work with MongoDB while in JavaScript, like in a Node.js environment? That is the problem that a lot of people are encountering. And can you just do the assignment? Don't ask about the deadline because deadline is going to give you an impression of, let me just wait for until the deadline is there, then I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell the deadline, but I'm going to see how I can be able to disable the assignment if I see some people are not doing, but I saw some people are doing the assignment. So the goal today is to make sure that we know how MongoDB works in Node.js environment, how MongoDB works in a Node.js environment. That is our goal today. And after that, I think we are going to be set for our next class tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, but on Friday. So there's a lot that comes to mind when you hear about MongoDB. We can approach it in many ways. We have MongoDB driver that we can able to install. So MongoDB works very well in a Node.js environment. So the typical setup involves using the official MongoDB Node.js driver. So we have that MongoDB Node.js driver. So this driver allows you to basically run MongoDB. You download it and you're going to run MongoDB on top of this Node.js driver. So that is one way. And then you can able to now utilize, but I'm going to show you another way. So I'm going to show you two ways. So we have the MongoDB Node.js driver, and also we have the Mongoose. So this is a popular object data modeling library, Mongoose itself. So I'm going to give you a breakdown for each, and then you're going to see how they work. Now, and then we are going to see how it morphs into Express.js, just a little bit, then you're going to leave it at that. So, okay, trying to pull up my notes. So I want to do a project that is going to demonstrate. Mhm. And this is pure JavaScript, and yeah, this is how you're going to learn how to use JavaScript, by the way. But my goal is not to torture you with the ideas. I can decide to bring it with the Mongo with the JavaScript. The session is being recorded currently. Uh-huh. I'm trying to think here. Should I be able to bring let us focus in class. People are asking questions and I want people to focus. We have two ways. I can use the native CRUD operations, or I can just be able to use Express.js. So I don't know which is the best way. Yet Express.js, I want to introduce it next week. Basically, what I want to show you is the use of MongoDB driver and Mongoose itself, how they work. So like just typical JavaScript. Mhm. I think this one will do. I have so many notes here. Okay. I think I got it. I think I got it. So let us spin a certain project here, then you're going to see how, because I gave you the knowledge on MongoDB, but I never told you how it can be able to be used. Mostly it is used in JavaScript entirely, so let me do that. Just follow closely. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to create a directory. So let us call this thing book manager. And then I cd into that book manager. Open VS Code on the same. So for this book manager, let me just zoom in. I'm going to initialize something called, I'm going to initialize Node.js. So how do you initialize Node.js environment? So first of all, make sure that you have Node.js, because these are the prerequisites that I want you guys to have ahead of time before we join Express.js class. So first things first, make sure you have Node.js installed. So you go and find Node.js and install it. But the best way I'm going to tell you is go and find NVM. So NVM is a node version manager. It will enable you. We have several ways. Just go and find your way. Install Node.js. If you don't have, I'm not going to do it in this session. I'm going to provide instruction for those who don't have and to install it tomorrow. So make sure you have Node.js, so Node version, and also it comes with NPM. So NPM version. Dale, I'll be able to give you a chance later on to speak. Just hold your horses for now. Now, confirm that you have NPM and Node.js installed. After that, it will be easy now for you to spin up. Forgive me if I'm going faster. I'm just used to this, and it is good. It is never good to code while going slow. So coding have to be faster on it, on your keyboard. So npm initialize or init y. So that is going to initialize a Node.js environment, because this folder is just a folder in a computer. But when you run that command, it's going to bring up a Node.js environment. And verification for that, you're going to see this file that is created, which is called package.json. It is there. So just a verification of the same. There you go, your package.json. So this is a Node.js project initialized. So from there now, you are able now to come and install anything that you wish. So npm install. You can say install, you can just say I, and then say MongoDB. So there are so many ways that you can able to do this. I or install works on the one and the same thing. So we have already installed other 12 packages. You can come and check on the dependency. Make sure that the thing that you are trying to install is there. So this is the MongoDB driver. You have just installed it and you're going to see the package lock, JSON, and the node modules. So MongoDB comes with a lot of things. So that's just a verification. The ultimate verification is just to check your package.json file to make sure that that thing that you're installing, that dependency is there. After that, now we are supposed to create several files. So let's create files. So just attach app.js. I want book.js. So app.js, I want it to be my launch point, no, my launch point, like my entry point. And then you can have db.js. So having created all of these files, we are going to see app, book, and then db. We are going to see how they work. Now it's about time for us to start populating code bases for these things. Okay, right now, okay, I'm signed out, by the way, for this thing. Let me sign in to use Copilot. But even before using Copilot, continue. Okay, it is there. So you can be able to just use Copilot, but it is going to give me a completion. So anyway, so we have several ways on how you can be able to do importing. Like how do you call importing and exporting in JavaScript? So how do you know that you're using the correct one? So we have two ways. We have one way called CommonJS. CommonJS, that's one way of how you can go to just standardize your module system, CommonJS. We have another way, which is called, I'm going to allow forums for questions. Let me disable this thing. I'm going to allow forums for questions. So we have CommonJS. CommonJS is a one way that we can able to just know how to do importing. So this is one way. So we can able, right now we can be able to use CommonJS. But we also have another way called ES6. So ES6, go and find the difference between ES6 and CommonJS. And you're going to actually be surprised. Okay, so this is how they are. So in a nutshell, you're going to find that the main difference is whereby you do importing and exporting. So in ES6, this is how you do it. You say just import from. But in CommonJS, that the one that we have, you say const, then you put the thing that you want uh, to be installed, to be imported, then require, and so on. So that's the major difference. And how do you know? So you come to package.json, and you're going to find that here. So by default, CommonJS is the one that is there because it was there since the day JavaScript was launched. So CommonJS is there. If you want to change, you can just come here and change. So we can just come and say module, and then you can be able to put, is it CommonJS or ES6? So this is where you're going to put it. So ES6, don't know if it works, but this one is supposed to be, let me back it up. So you come and say module, and then right now you can come and just put ES6 if you want to. So this is going to allow you. So this one is going to allow you to use ES6. Instead of using const require, you're going to say import from. But for us, the default is now CommonJS. So we just leave it at that. So that is what I'm going to do. So const is important for you to be able to understand something like that. So we are importing MongoDB client. So MongoDB, Mongo client. So it comes with the driver itself. And then you're going to say require. I believe you're familiar. I did this thing a lot. Then you're going to say it is coming from MongoDB, just like that. Then you're going to close. So what we need is MongoDB. So now that dependency, we have now imported it. So we are going to be calling Mongo client instead of MongoDB because we are saying from MongoDB driver, we want to use this. So we come and say, first of all, let us fire up or set up the connection. This is how we do it. So to set up a connection, we normally say URI, or you don't say URL because URL is normally used a lot. So this is where you come and set it up. So MongoDB. So we know that we have been using HTTP, right? But in MongoDB, the connection that we use there is not HTTP, it is called MongoDB. So we come and say local host. The port that you're using is called 27127, if I'm not wrong. 027, yeah. Sometimes I'm confused. So is it 27027? No, it's 017. So that is the basic connection. You can just come and verify in your MongoDB compass. Can fire it up and come and check. Normally, when you come and check the connection, come and edit, you can see this is the connection, MongoDB, blah, 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 27017. That is the default connection that we normally have. So, for those who are so surprised, what are you talking about? So, remember I told you, kindly do your own research, learn by yourself, because if you depend on your instructor coming to class and giving you the information, then when we are done, that is it. You wait until next week. It is going to be a rough journey for you because for me, I assume that this is not a beginner specialization. The beginner level, you already did that. So it's up to you to go and expound your knowledge. Find some things. Just be ahead of the instructor. That's how you get to know more things. Me, I'm going to give you what I know it is best at the time, but find your time and do your own research. Don't depend on my own delivery because I'm never going to give you everything. I'm never. That is for sure. Just know that I'm never going to give you the entire thing. So, second thing, I'm going to establish the client. I'm just giving you the things that normally you're going to see even in the next class. So how do you establish the client connection? So how do you connect? Because I've already given the connection here, which is you declare variable there and say this connection, you're going to put it inside this variable called URI. Then for the client, for you to establish new connection, you now bring in the client. You say the connection is going to come from the client. The client is going to wrap around the URI. So this, in short, I can put this in one line, but instead I'm putting it in different lines so that I can go to say, okay, if it is the connection URL, it is coming from here, you're putting it in URI. But if it is the connection, this one, for it to be connected, you have to put it that way. So Mongo client, then you put the connection inside. So this one says that this one is a new connection rather. So it is all in client. Anytime I want to call the connection, I'm going to call the client. Proceed slowly. There's something called asynchronous operation. These terms that I'm mentioning, you're supposed to be noting them down. Go and find out later how they work because we're going to be talking about them a lot. So asynchronous connection or asynchronous operation, what is it? So you can just go on browser and come and say asynchronous operation in JavaScript. Especially, it is normally there in JavaScript. You try to understand what is it exactly. So in layman's term, just to zoom in, so asynchronous operation in JavaScript, it is there to allow the code to be executed without blocking the main thread. So when you put a block of code in an asynchronous operation way or a function, you're saying this function, I want this function to be asynchronous. It means that every other thing is going to work until this function works. We are going to proceed like, as you can see, so enabling the task like networking. So we are waiting for something to be done. For example, for the connection, we are waiting for it to be connected. As soon as it is connected, now proceed to the next step. Let me give it in a simple analogy. Unless we get, maybe you are lighting a matatu, you are traveling with the matatu or a public service vehicle. Unless you get to a point whereby you are supposed to alight that vehicle, you cannot climb down from that vehicle. So the synchronous function means, in this case, is the traveling. So unless I get to the point whereby I'm supposed to get off that matatu or that bus, I'm not going to go down. So I'm going to show you in a short while. So just go and see how they work, because it is really important for you to understand it. And for MongoDB, you're going to see how, okay, we can be able to do it without asynchronous, but as using asynchronous, so you come and say async. Then you're going to say function. So this function is the one that I want to say is called asynchronous. So I can be able to just come and say async. But this is not the one that I want. So I come and say, let us call this function connect database or connect DB. Doesn't take any parameter. And then you're going to say, okay, let us wait for it to connect for us to proceed with the return. So we come and say await. Then you say await for the client. So remember the client is the client which takes new connection. So await for that thing to connect. So there's a method in MongoDB called connect. So this method, come and say connect. It's a method. So wait for the client to connect. So this is a new connection, right? So this connection is standby for connection. So you're saying MongoDB connect via this URL, but you're supposed to connect also via this. So we are waiting for the client to connect. Then after it is connected, now move to the next. So it is not going to go to return. It is not going to go to return unless it is achieved. So when it is connected, now you can come and say client dot DB. Now, this is where you're now bringing. So after connection, what are you supposed to do? So you create a database. So how do you create a database? We already talked about this. So you create a database and said that this database, we call it bookstore. So this bookstore is going to take a collection, or in SQL language, you can say it's going to take a table. So this one is a database and you're creating a table. So it's going to take a collection. So this collection is going to be called books. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is we are not going to create a database unless the connection is there. We are not going to create a database unless the connection is there. That's why you're saying this is called a synchronous operation. Go and research in layman's way what asynchronous operations is. So one common way to handle asynchronous operation is through callbacks, where a function is passed into another function as an argument and executed at a later time. So you're putting an operation standby. But for you to understand is that we are not blocking anything. So as you can see, allows the code to be executed without blocking any or the main thread. So when you're making an API call, for example, let me give you an analogy. When I'm fetching something from the database, and I know this thing is going to take time, so I'm going to use an asynchronous operation such that until everything that we are trying to fetch from the database is fetched, we are not going to proceed. Yeah, we are not going to proceed unless everything you're fetching is fetched. So we are saying, for us, we are waiting. So asynchronous, so async. So as soon as we are done, we sync with the operation to make sure that we proceed. So wait for it to be done. This thing that you're saying, wait. So you're supposed to wait. Until this connection is established, we are going to proceed. So this is one way. Another way, as you can see here, so another method involves using promises. So promises is another way, by the way. If you don't want to use a synchronous operation, you can use, that's just within a synchronous operation. We have another one which is called promises, whereby you're promising somebody, as soon as I'm done with this, as soon as I'm done with cooking, we are going to eat. I'm promising you a meal for you to eat, right? So as soon as I'm done cooking, we are going to eat. So this then that you're seeing here is there to do that. So what is doing there, you're going to see it later on in JavaScript. As soon as I'm done cooking, we are going to eat. Or if I'm not done cooking, you're not going to eat. So the catch goes there, the else or the otherwise. I usually call it the otherwise method. So this one is the promise. Then we are going to eat, but this one is the otherwise. If this food doesn't get cooked, we are not going to eat. So otherwise, let us go under and order KFC. So that's the catch or the counter that you'll normally give. I guess now you're already getting the point. Now that's the synchronous. So after that, this DB, entirely what you're trying to do here is to create a connection file. Remember, I can do this thing in one file, but I want to segregate them so that you can be able to see how to make sure your debugging is healthy. So how do you export in CommonJS? Remember, importing in CommonJS, you do this. How do you do exporting? Because you cannot say export. No, that is ES6. So come and say module.export. So you say exports. Then you come and say, I want to export this. You see this function, this is the main thing. So you come and say export that one, just like that. So anytime I want to make sure that the connection is established, I'm just going to call this one. So when I'm going to go to the next file, for example, here, I'm just going to say const, then I'm going to call that one, and then I'm going to require, for example, just an example, I'm going to require this, say that is coming from DB. It's coming from db.js. So anytime I want to use this one, I'm going to import it that way. But I'm not saying that I'm going to do that. So let us proceed to the next part. So the next step that we have already done this. Thumbs up if you already understand this point, because this is how you work with MongoDB in JavaScript. This is not Express.js. You have not touched Express.js. This is just vanilla JavaScript. Okay, if you're putting thumbs down, that's okay. You're okay to be confused, but go and do research. I'm going to share a repo for this. So we go to book. So we have already done connecting to MongoDB. So this one does the connection to MongoDB. Let me just put it across. So connect to MongoDB. So you're connecting to MongoDB via the driver. The driver is called MongoDB driver or MongoDB.js driver. So that is it. So the next one, we are going to say, let us run the CRUD operation. Or you can say the CRUD helpers. I'm saying CRUD helpers because they are going to come out not like Express.js or REST API. We are going to handle REST API on Friday. This is just to give you the logics. So how do you do that? So for us to be able to achieve the CRUD operations, we already did the CRUD operations in MongoDB, but we want to see them working right now. So for us to do that, we are going to say, first of all, let us import our connection. So const MongoDB, then you're going to say require. So require, we are going to fetch MongoDB. So this file, that's how you fetch them, by the way. After that, we want to fetch the object ID from MongoDB direct. So we come and say const, we come and say, because if it is a dependency, you do it differently from how you import a function from another file locally. So object ID. So this object ID is going to help us do a couple of things. We are going to see how it is really important for us to be able to work with the object ID. A good example is something like this. Let me just show you. When you go to something like courses, you see this is the object ID that I'm importing. This is the object ID that I'm talking about for us to be able to get this default ID for each collection or for each document that comes across table. So require, we are fetching it directly from MongoDB, just like that. So we close. That is importation. Now we proceed with our synchronous operation. Yeah, our synchronous operations are great. So async, we say function. Our function is going to add the books. So add book. So this is like posting. We are adding books. So you're taking a book. If you want to add a book, of course, you're taking a parameter called add book. After that, this is the logic that I want you to understand. I'm going to do the first one, then for the rest, you're going to see, okay, this is the pattern. So const, we want to add the book. So for us, we have to have the books. Then we have to wait for this book to be pushed to the database. So connect DB. So we have to wait for it to be pushed to the database. After that, we want to get the results that, okay, we are now ready to push, but I'm going to explain it later on as you are going to understand. So result, wait as well. So we have to wait step by step. So this is the process after So what you are saying here, this is going to confirm, basically what you're seeing here. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So here we say that the collection, the database name is called bookstore. The collection is called books. So basically this line, what we are trying to say here is that let us first of all confirm that the connection is still available. Are we still connected? So that connection is going to be taken, and we are going to say now books that we said, the books. Now in the connection called books, insert one. So we want to insert one book, for example. That one book is going to be called book, the parameter that we are talking about here. And as you can see, if I remove that parameter, you are not able to see that parameter. So when I come and say book, now it is fulfilled there. Now, how about this result? Let us do a console log to make sure that everything is okay. So for example, you just come and do console log. Console log is good for debugging, by the way, to make sure that, okay, everything worked. So you come and say book added. Then you can say what kind of book was added. So we are checking it from the result. If the result saying so insert, we're not going to say it insert one, we are going to say it insert ID. So you're going to fetch the ID of that book that was inserted. But don't worry, I'm going to paraphrase, or you can just scan here. You can go to Copilot, explain. It is going to give you a very precise explanation. Let us see. It's not explaining why. Explain. Let me close it and open it again. Sometimes these things I need to for you to explain it in bare minimum words. Explain. Okay, explain. Oh yeah. That is the reason why. Let us see here. Why is it not connecting? Okay, it is failing. But anyway, the explanation that I'm giving you suffices. Now that is it. Let us go. This is for adding the book. So how about another one for fetching the book? So we come and say async. Let me just do it quickly. So we come and say func. So we are listing all the books. So list books or book. So if you're listing books, we doesn't take any parameter. So we are fetching just everything from the database. And then you're going to make sure that the connection is still there. So books, then you say, wait for the connection to be established. Make sure the connection is established. After that, so this one comes like that. And then let us fetch all the books. Now, fetch all the books is very simple. What we are doing is just go for the books, that collection called books, and then find. So when you say find, remember the commands that we talked about last week. So when you say find, that is going to find all of them. It's going to find all of them. So I have an option to leave it at that. But for me, I want all the books to be packaged in a certain way that they are going to appear well. So if you have more than one book, remember a book that is published in the database is going to appear as an object, right? But this object, if there are 10 of them, how are they going to appear? We have the JSON way, we have the array. So for me, I want all of them to come out as an array. So we have to say, I want to fetch them as an array. So they are going to be put in an array, and then I'm going to be given. So console log, Just confirm all books. You can say all books, and then we can say all books. We are fetching just all the books. So the difference is that here we are posting as per each ID. Here we are fetching everything. So it is very simple and direct. So that one is this one is for creating or posting. This one is for fetching, and let us do for the one for updating. So simple. So for updating, remember you are updating only one. So for updating, you are updating only one. So it is unique. If you're updating your name, you're updating your only name. So it has to be unique. So how do we do that? We focus on ID. So we update as per the ID. So I'm going to tell you how, later on, how you can go to know. There's a term that I'm going to give you, but I'm not going to tell you right now. I think I've forgotten. So you come and say update book. You're not updating only one book. You can fetch all the books on one. You can post one book at a time. You can update one book at a time. So for you to update, it has to exist. So for example, we start by having an ID that is going to make sure that, okay, this is the book that we want to update. After that, of course, our connection. Let us make sure that our connection. So come and say const books await. So we are waiting, make sure that the connection is there. After that, let us fetch. So you are fetching, so you're going to say, this one is going to be a bit complex, a bit, but don't worry. So the results that you want to fetch here, you come and say await. Oh, this is now JavaScript, by the way. This is now hardcore JavaScript. So we update one. So we can update one, we can update all. Just like find, we can find one, we can find all. Just like insert, we can insert one or insert many. So update one or update many, but normally it's normally update one. So for this one, we are going to focus on a couple of things. Remember, the update is going to filter the already existing items in the database, and then you're going to focus on ID. So how do you make sure that that ID parameter is being used? So remember when we were talking about object ID here, you remember? So we are focusing it by ID. So we want to make sure that it is already labeled as that ID. So we come and put that ID here, and then you're going to say that new object ID. Remember the object ID that we imported right here? Now this is the place that you're going to use it. So object ID. So that object ID, we are going to wrap out, we are going to wrap around the ID that you are creating here, such that it's going to match, just to match. So after that, we say comma, then we go to the next line. And then we deal with something called, remember we talked about set operator. So let me open forums. What do you know about the set operator for those who are there? I want you guys to see how things they sink in. What do you know about set operator in MongoDB? Somebody wants to shine? Bernard is saying updates data. Any other person? Updates the document, insert new data, is to assign a value, change a value attribute, set is used to update document. Anyway, all of you are right in your own perspective, in your own views. I'm not going to say somebody's wrong. You gave an answer. So just to sum it all, the set operator that you're going to use here, so we're going to say set. The set operator, what it does basically is just to update. It's going to update the document. So the document, so the data in that document is already there, but we want just to update. So remember the parameters that you're taking here. These are just dynamic parameter. So we already have this one in the database. So we are matching it with what we have. So we are saying now, take that ID and wrap it around the object ID that we normally have. So as you can see, this is a class representation of a binary JSON object ID type. Remember, MongoDB works in binary JSON. Bison, in other words. So that object ID is the one that you normally see in MongoDB there as underscore ID. The set operator, what are we targeting? You're targeting the updates. So we come and say updates, taking that parameter as whole. Now, after that, I think we are done. We can close this one. Let us now write a console log to make sure that, okay, we are set. So we can come and say updates. Okay, updated. What have you updated exactly? So we are supposed to check the updated. You see? Uh-huh. Something is not coming out clearly here. Yeah, I think it is okay. These things here, you're supposed to be able to know. So we are supposed to check the result. Then we have a couple of things that we can be able to check. Here we have all of them. Here we have all of them. But for me, I'm going to put a new one. So it is called modified count. For delete, you're going to say deleted count. For updating, you're going to say modified count, like you have just modified it. So you come and say modified. It's normally modified count. No, what I know is just camel case. So it is easier for me to bring it up. So modified count. So it's going to bring exactly what has been modified exactly. Now after that, that one is for updating. How about deleting? Deleting is very simple. Just delete that thing and go away. So async. So async function. Well, you're going to call this one delete book. Yeah, just delete that book and go. You can delete a book. If you're deleting a book, you're targeting a certain book. So if you're targeting a certain book, which means it's a unique book. So which means you're targeting a specific ID. So you take a parameter ID. Of course, our connection. What I'm doing here, this is just vanilla JavaScript, but we in Express.js, I'm going to convert these asynchronous functions into REST API, which we have a post, we have a get, we have a put, and we have a delete. Then you're going to test that thing in Postman. So this is just giving you the view of what you're expecting in our next class. This is just JavaScript. It's very sweet. Now, const, we take now result. This one we are doing it straight away. So await. What are we waiting? So we are waiting. Go to the database. Go to that document. Delete that one. So delete one. So for you to delete one, you have to be specific. So you take that underscore ID, and then exactly just like this one. You just take this one. You can just copy it as it is, and then you come and put it inside here, just like that, because you're targeting this specific ID. We don't need to update, so we don't need the set operator. So after that, I think you're done. You can now console log. Console log, then you come and say deleted. This is not a beginner class, so forgive me if I'm not defining how the functions are working. If you are doing more research, it's easy for you to understand this. So delete count. Same case as the modified. Yeah, in 31 lines, I think we are done for the crude helper, but we are not done yet. We have to export. The reason why we are exporting for reusability is just like components. So module dot exports, remember it's plural, it can be manual one. So what are we taking? You're taking add book, we are taking list books, we are taking update book, and then you're taking delete book. So these are the exports that you want to take away. These are the exports that you want to take away. Like we want them to be used other places. Somebody is putting a helicopter, means I'm going so fast. Yeah. I cannot go slowly because there's another file that I want to do, then I'm going to wrap it up. So we have seen how to connect the database. We have seen how to run CRUD operations. Now, let us see how to bring all of them together. How are they going to communicate all of them together? How? That is what we want to see. We want to see if you add a book, what is going to happen? You see? That is what I want us to see. And don't worry, I'm going to explain. But this one is self-explanatory. As soon as you understood how this one works, the only thing that you're supposed to ask is how is this working? Then come and focus at this part. Come and focus at this part. You see these sections, these sections here. This is now MongoDB itself. The other things are just JavaScript. And I think you're now seeing that MongoDB is just like JavaScript because we are repeating the exact same thing, like find. This is how it is being written in MongoDB. How we are writing DB here, DB dot, is just the same thing. So it is not hard. This is just a brush through, just to make sure that, okay, the content that I learned is this. I'm able now to do the assignments. So it is much easier for you to navigate. Just come and focus. Now, this is MongoDB. The others are just JavaScript. I've already explained what asynchronous operations are. You already know. I've already explained what promises are. You already know. So it is much easier for you to navigate. People, let us jump onto the next wagon. This is now the file, the entry file that we can go to run. And allow me to change this one here because this is not our entry file. Our entry file is app, not index. So the next file I'm going to explain, like explain line by line what is happening so that you can be able to see how to bring all of them together. So first things first, have we understood so far? Have we understood so far? This is now MongoDB happening in JavaScript. Remember, this is just a preamble. This preamble is going to help you do more research such that when I'm going to come in a class on Friday, when I bring up Express.js and do Express.js itself, then at the end of the class, we do MongoDB, you're going to see, okay, now it makes sense. Now, okay, so this is Express.js, so this is MongoDB, okay. This is how they come together, and this is how Express.js works. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs down, which is much okay. Go and do research. It is going to be understandable. If you have not understood JavaScript, if you have not understood the basics of JavaScript, now it's about time for you to cry. That I'm very sure, because I'm not doing the basics of JavaScript here. Having a class in Manstack, you're already aware that, okay, the prerequisite is that I am supposed to understand JavaScript. So JavaScript is already there, the basics. If you have not understand JavaScript, I think there's a catch-up class going on this week for JavaScript, for web development. Mostly it's about JavaScript. For those who are in AI for software engineering, if you have not understood Python, that class you are going to be floating until forever. So it's all about prerequisites. The prerequisite for this class is not HTML or what. Just get down to JavaScript. After knowing JavaScript, it is not going to be harder for you, unless, I'm not criticizing anybody, unless you are just working over in the web development class, not focusing on what the basic JavaScript that we are told, the document object model and everything, the functions. It's about time that you cry because you skipped that class and made sure that I'm not going to be bothered by researching. This is not a beginner class. We are just rolling over. I've not even touched on the hard things. So crying should not be an option right now. This is just basics. Not from experience, but the level at which I'm giving the information. Just basics. So the hard stuff, we are yet to cook it. And not to surprise you, but just to encourage you and tell you, okay, if this is what we are getting, if this is what we are feeding from, how about the things that we are about to come? Yeah, so, but it is going to be easy if you understand the basics first, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. Enough of talking. Let us start by importing stuff. You see, we already been exporting. Let us now start by importing. So for you to import, so this file, basically, what you are doing is, this is the file that is the entry file that you are going to run on the terminal. You're going to say node app.js, then populates everything. So we start by importing everything. So you come and say Let me just bring them up. Just copy. There's so many. Then put them there, equals to require. And then what are we bringing them from? So we are saying dot book, just like that. So we want to use all of these functions. So after that, basically what we are seeing there is, ladies and gentlemen, we are just importing add book function, list, update, and delete. These are just functions to add a new book, to list all the books, to update a book by the ID. So we are updating by ID. You can update, by the way, here. Here, we have an option to update by ID. This is the ID. Or you can update by the title, or you can update by the author. So there's so many ways that we can go to update. But I chose the ID because it is unique. Now, this one is deleting by ID as well. You can delete a book we're targeting. Remember, it's all about filtering. If I want to know how many gems are in this country, in Kenya, the only possible way as I can have the option of filtering by their ID number, filtering by the phone number, filtering by their last name, filtering by tribe, filtering. We have a lot of filtration, but for uniqueness, the ID number is very unique. So we focus on the ID. That's why ID always work. From there, I'm going to use a built-in Node.js array. So built-in Node.js array that holds the command line arguments. So we are going to use that one. So it's a built-in array, Node.js array that is going to hold the command line arguments. So it's a custom whereby I'm going to be able to customize some commands. If I say add, it's going to put add. So like, let me just give you the perspective. I like browsing things so that I confirm that I'm not, in Kenya, it says stories za Java. So Node.js array for command line. We are cruising like a ship, yeah? This is not what I want. But holds command line argument. I just want to introduce this thing. It's very interesting. So this is it. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. So I'm going to do a very funny thing. That's why I want to introduce this. So what you're seeing here, process argument V, is an array containing command line arguments. The first element will be node. The second element will be the name of the JavaScript file. So node and then app.js. The next element after the file is going to be an additional argument, additional command line argument. So it's going to be very simple. An example, if you say node process 2.js and then 1 and then 2, 3, 4, what you're going to get, this is going to generate something like that. So let us see what the AI says. Is the one that holds the argument passed, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, I'm going to show you. I know this is something, what are you talking about, man? Don't worry. So first of all, I want to just make sure that I'm calling it like a command. This is JavaScript, by the way. So I'm going to say process.rgva. So we have something like that. So as you can see here, so this one returns an array containing command line pass, blah, 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 blah. Now, that's it. But I want it to be that way. So what you're basically saying here is that the first custom argument, like e.g., saying node app.js add, so the value of the command will be add. That is what you're talking about. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you to be able to chew it. So after that, let us now write our conditionals. So our condition is that if, remember, instead of calling this argument all over and over again, instead of calling this argument, let's see if you can go to explain this. You see, Copilot is not available for me. Don't know why. Anyway, problem for another day. So instead of every time calling this command, I'll just say command. So if, remember JavaScript is a loosely typed language. Loosely typed language. So if command, instead of saying equals, double equals, because when you say single equal sign, for those who don't know, single equal sign means assignment. Like the one on the right belongs to the one on the left. When you put this one means equality. But because it is JavaScript and it's a loosely typed language, you put strict equality. 3 equal signs means strict equality. So if you are calling the command and saying add, what is supposed to happen? You're basically going to do a couple of things. So we are going to say, just basically, this command that we're saying here. So if the command matches add, it is going to extract the next 3 arguments after the command, like the title, author, blah, blah. So title, if you're posting a book, so title, that's what you're talking about, the author. And then you're talking about here, right? So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to assign it to that argument. So process, just digest later on how these things are working. They are very simple. So I'm going to slice them by 3. Think, yeah, you can slice them by 3. So the beginning index of specified portion, blah, blah, blah. This is just JavaScript if you've never had. Remember, I can never give you everything. So don't say, but we are never taught this, so now you're being taught. Yeah, now you're being taught. I'm never giving you everything, or nobody's never giving you anything. You're being taught right now. So after that, we come and say add book. Remember that function that we imported, so add book. So we are adding it by passing the title, passing the author, and then passing the year. So the year, we are passing it as an integer. So we have to make sure that we are passing it as an integer, so pass. So I'm talking about pass. I'm not saying pass like pass and go forward. No, it is passing data. So we normally say pass an integer. So we're passing an integer. So that is so much clear. Go and do research. So let me explain this, how it works. And you're going to be so shocked how it works. Really interesting. So whenever I go to my terminal, this is how I'm going to call it. I'm going to say node. Let me zoom in. For the purpose of backbenchers, they are not seeing my writing wall here. The backbenchers, are you able to see now? Okay. So whenever I'm saying node, I'm going to say node, then call app.js, but then I'm going to call the command called add. So this add, I'm going to put my things here, like what's the title? So the title can be this book called Saffins. It's written by Noah. I think somebody Noah. So Saffins. No, this one is that. And then I'm going to say maybe, yeah, so Noah wrote that book. It is a 2011 version. So because it's an integer, I'm not going to put it as a string. You see, this is a string, double quotes, string, double quotes, but because I've said pass int, I'm going to say 2011. That book is a 2011 version. So whenever I'm doing that, so what happens is that it's going to extract the next three arguments. So I'm going to slice it by 3. Going to take it, extract the next three arguments after the commands. So after the commands, you say 1, 2, 3, because that's what we have. So we want 1, 2, 3. So example, I've already shown you something like that. Then when you hit enter, something like this, when you hit enter, it's going to go to the database, by the way, via this command. So this command is responsible from this point. Don't confuse this one and this one for slicing. So that one should be much clearer. So you're going to find out that Cyphens is going to go to the title, author is going to go to the there, then 2011 to the year. Very simple. Now, this one is an if-else statement. So I'm going to say else if else if the command strict equality, you're talking about list. Yeah, talking about list. What are you supposed to do? So it's very simple. Just list that thing. Like that one is so much direct. You just come and say, list the books. So you just call this thing list books. So you call it as a function because we are fetching. So there's no any parameter that you're supposed to be passing there. You see, it is that much simple. So let me separate this so that you can be able to see. So after that is we put another else if. Else if the command, so this one is for updating. Strict equality, we're talking about something like update. So when you put update, what you're talking about here is the exact same thing. So I'm just going to borrow the idea here. So we are going to take three things. If you want to update, we were saying we're talking about a few things. The ID that you want to update, like we are filtering by ID. This one is for filtering by ID, and then the field that you want to update. So I want filter. I'm filtering you by your ID number. After filtering you, what do I want to update for you? Do I want to update your face or your stomach? So I pick that as the field. And then if I pick that field, now what do I want to update? Do I want you to have a flat tummy or a big tummy? You see, the field is now the stomach, but the feature that I want to put there, what is it? So those are the three things that I want to update. Are you getting the point? It is around between lunchtime and the evening. So people are digesting right now. So I'm putting relating arguments here. So very simple. So first things first. First things first. I guess you're getting my point now because these analogies are meant for you to get. So come and say field and then the value. Very simple. And then we bring our things here. So we are slicing it by 3 also. So just because these are 3 arguments. If it is 4, we are going to put 4. But because it's 3, we are going to do so. And then I'm going to say update book. Maybe something like ID. And then exactly. So this is how you're doing it, like how we did it here. You see, something like set. But in this time, you're not going to do so, just pure JavaScript. So we are going to say now, because we are talking about the field, there's the field. And we want to make sure that this field, like we want to say, is not a number. So we want to put an argument there. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how you're going to put this argument here. Because when you say this field, then you put is not a number, we are going to say like something, I'm trying to find the best word to put out there. The field that you want to change, it can be a string or it can be an integer. In that book, as far as we are talking about a book, we have strings and we have integers. For example, strings, we have the title and we have the author. But for the year, we have an integer. I gave you a very good example here. You see, these are strings, these are integer. So I want to put an argument whereby the user can be able to update anything. So how do you do that? So you come and say it's not a number. So we start by it's not a number. So if the value is not a number, so if the value is not a number, or you can be able to say, or if the value can also be the pass integer. So the pass integer, so it's not a number. This is just like saying it's a string. And also we have this one, which is pass int. Because what are you updating? So if it's a pass int, so you're not putting here, we are putting value. So this value, this is a variable, or you can say a parameter. So there's a way that you can be able to say these parameters are like, it is normally param ID, like forgetting the term by the way. But anyway, let us progress. So basically what happens here? What happens here? So it is here it constructs an update object dynamically. So this is dynamic. This value can be a string, or this value can be an integer or a number. in JavaScript, you say number, not integers. So it can be this field you're saying this is dynamic. It can be anything. So this field can be title, can be author, can be here. If it is title, it is going to pick something like this. If it is here, it is going to pick the integer part of it or the number part of it. That's why it's dynamic that way, that the way you're saying it. So it is done. These are just logics. Understand these logics. They are much interesting. Let us do for delete. Delete is straight much forward, like straightforward. So if command strict equality, we talk about delete, right? Going to open forum for question very soon. So we are talking about delete. So delete, we are filtering by what? Filtering by ID. Yeah, just like we said, you're filtering by ID. So if you're filtering by ID, so which means we are still slicing it by 3. Yeah, I know you're going to say why, but we are deleting the entire thing. So if you delete the entire thing, you're going to fetch the entire document because the entire document has a title, author, and here. Just like that. And then just come and say delete that ID that we have fetched. Just like that. And then you're done. So else, you can give people a fallback. So you can give people fallback if there's a fallback that you want to give. But for now, I don't want to give the fallback. So let us see how we can able to use this. So for example, remember our database is empty. We don't have a database called bookstore. So we want to make sure that the database called bookstore is available. So we come here, let us run 2011. Okay, we have an issue. I never saw that coming. So it cannot connect. It is not able to connect, which is okay, because when you come here, it is not able to connect. So this is the problem. Line 9, by the way. You might think this is the problem, but line 9. So let us see if you can able to strike another connection to make sure that the connection is there. So refresh, disconnect. Let us do another connection. So edit connection, just remove the name. So it is connected, as you can see. Let us see if it works. Okay, still a problem. MongoDB is not a contractor. Okay, what is this kind of error that we're getting? For what I know, we are not able to connect. Oh, yeah. You see, my issues. I have issues, by the way. What you're supposed to bring here, this is supposed to be MongoDB in capital. As you can see, the color changes now. I never saw that coming, by the way. You see, this is not the one that you're supposed to work with. It's supposed to be uppercase. So which means this one as well. Now we are talking. Now we are talking. So let me refresh. Okay. We have another disease. We have another disease here. Await client. So it's not able to connect. Let me see. Yeah, it is connect. I've written connect instead of connect. You see, I have issues. Typos. I don't know the rush that I was having. There you go. So book added and defined. Let us go and check. So we come here and refresh. As you can see, we have bookstore here. There's bookstore. We have books, and we have a book called Safari. You see, can you clap for me? If you're not clapping, I don't know if you're a hater or who. But we are able to add a book. So I can kill that. I can come and add another book. Let me see if you have another book, if I can be able to browse online. The Alchemist. Let us do for the Alchemist node app. app.js, add. So the title of the book is called The Alchemist. This thing is written by Paulo, not from the Bible. Paulo. And then it's Paulo. And then it was published 1988. Let us hit enter. Book added. But this undefined, I don't know why. I thought I worked on this undefined. Let me see. It is not packaging that ID really well. I think there's an issue there. Yeah, I think I just found the issue. Yeah, you see, it was the one who was having the typos here. You see now it is bringing out the ID, the new object ID that is creating. So if you go and refresh here, you can able to see. So the alchemist is, let us redo everything so that you can able to see the ID that is being created. Now we start with the first one, as you can see. There you are. So book added, and then the object ID that is being created, 6837, as you can see how it starts. When you refresh, there we go, 6837. Let us do for the next one. There you go, 6837 as well, 94D, refresh. There you go. Now, let us test other commands. So let us say node app.js list. So you can able to fetch all of them. You see all the books. Here they are. So we have an option of working with MongoDB just from like outside what we know about MongoDB, which is just pure MongoDB, and we can be able to work with MongoDB. As you can see, if I'm able to fetch, I can fetch via an array. You see, we have square bracket here. So where is that coming from? You see, line 14 here. So I'm able to find all of them, but I can remove this one. I can remove that one. Then let us go and fetch. So I'm able to fetch all of it, but as you can see, I have the data, but it is coming not in a very specific way. I'm fetching all the books, but it's not coming the way I want. So that's why we normally say to array. So when you put it to array, it's going to bring the specifics and in a very formatted and structured way. Okay, let us try and update and say, Paulo, I think I remember the second name of this person. I want to update this person. So I come and say node app.js update. So I'm updating. So how do you update? So we first of all target the ID. So you come and bring that ID. It's a number. You put it there. And then I'm targeting to edit the author. So the author, that's the one that I'm targeting to edit. Zoom out. So I'm targeting to edit the author. So what is the new author? So I'm going to say Paulo. I think that's the name. Yeah. Then you hit enter. So updated one. So if I come and do the list, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you can go to strike the difference. We have this author and then you have this author. If I come here, this is the Paulo. If I refresh, there you go. So it works. Let us now delete. Let us delete. So node app.js. So you come and say delete. So for deleting as well, you can delete a particular. So let us delete the Paulo one. So we also have an issue because we are not targeting something here. So we come here. You see this delete count. I was not sufficed by it. So it's called delete count. I say deleted. Instead of deleted, you say delete. So change. Let's refresh. I think it deleted it. Yeah, I deleted, but let me delete this one as well. Node app delete by ID. There you go, deleted one. So when I refresh, it's gone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I call pure Node.js and MongoDB working hand in hand. Why Node.js? Because I'm able to install the driver. Because I'm able to install the driver. So it is just JavaScript, by the way. But now this part is now JavaScript. This is now MongoDB, just Node.js and so on. I'm able to put all of this connection and books, all of them in one file. But the essence of debugging is going to be an issue because it's going to be jagged together. Opening forum for questions and feedback. Remember, I'm never going to give you everything. I'm just giving you just something to make you curious. Go and do research. Now, feedback, forums, let us see. So what I'm using is MongoDB, is Ubuntu terminal. You can just use Git bash or CMD if you want to. Yeah, always separate. Always separate. So this app.js is an entry file. Like it is where you are calling everything now and working with all of them. For WhatsApp for peer groups, kindly create your own and I'm going to approve. Just create within the community. I'm going to approve then. Yeah. You can do that as well. I've been adding all of them on the terminal, or I'm just trying to show you how JavaScript works with the MongoDB. So that I'm going to, this is a preamble for our next class. Fridays are for our classes for Manstack. Wednesdays are for catch-up. As much as you want, just don't be so many to a point whereby you cannot be able to control. Share the repo. I'm going to do so. This is not a catch-up. This is a catch-up, by the way. We already did MongoDB. So what I'm trying to bridge, I'm just trying to prepare for the next class and to give you a feedback. Because the crude operation, this is just MongoDB. This is a catch-up class. Yeah, this is for the previous class, by the way, but it's bridging a gap. Somebody can share the link for the community. So this is bridging the gap, but now just a brush through. Okay, I've remember I told you I'm never going to give you everything. Just a brush through of what you're supposed to do in MongoDB. This is a catch-up class. Remember, a catch-up class is not a remedial class to repeat everything. I'm not going to repeat everything that I did in this catch-up. That is repetition. The recording for that class is there. So after that, I'm now keeping you up to date on what you're supposed to do and prepare for the next class. This was advanced catch-up. Now I feel like a developer. I believe Isaac have repeated that over and over again. Instructions are there. Even that file is there. Just read the instructions. Anyway, let me open a forum for 1 or 2 people, just 5 people, then I'm going to call it a session. I'm going beyond the time. Let me allow raising of the hands. I'm never giving you everything. I'm repeating that a lot. Just a disclaimer, no questions about the LMS. I'm not going to answer those. They don't concern me. I already communicated a few issues on that. So, Angela, talk to us. Am I
Hello.
boring?
No, no, no. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're not boring. You're just good, like the other tutors. Please, I want to ask because I was not I couldn't make it to last week class, but I've downloaded the recordings and I'll go through it. And I also understand some of what you did today, so it's just for me to practice. Please, I want to ask, when creating a table, right? Must those how do I even call it, like title, authors, must they be in small letters, like their initials, must it be in small letters? Is there any rule that made it that it must be in small letters? Like, can't I use the initials as capital letter, like, yeah, const, title, author, year? Like, if I use small letter for the initials, is it a problem?
So it's all about casing in programming. Like when talk about casing in programming, there's other programming languages whereby you're allowed to use capital letters all through for variables. So casing in JS programming. So JavaScript programming, we don't use uppercase a lot. We use casing differently. So we are encouraged to use, we have camel casing, Pascal casing, snake casing, and so on. But for JavaScript casing, what you're seeing, what I'm using here, I'm using small letters. Just use small letters. It is easier, looks nice, no hard feelings for that. So I don't know. I have a way to give you, but other programming languages, they allow you for you to write constants in capital letters. So go and study about casing. We have Pascal, camel casing, snake casing, like Python. Python, they use snake casing. I guess rhymes with their programming language name. For us, we use camel casing. A good example is that you're going to find out that I'm saying add, but I have capitalized B here, capitalized I here. That is allowed in JavaScript programming language. We also have Pascal, whereby you capitalize at the beginning and the middle only. That's how you do casing. So for JavaScript, use when you're working with multiple variables, mostly use camel casing or just small letters.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yusuf, Yusuf, I'm currently pushing the repo, so let me work on that. Okay, for those who are saying that, okay, this is advanced, do you know why I'm giving you such hardcore stuff right now? It is to keep you occupied in research and to put your antennas up that, okay, we are in the game. We are in for something that is not beginner. Let us now chew it. I cannot repeat the previous class as it was. No, that is not catch up. That is something else. Catch up class basically is to prepare you for the next one and to link the previous and the next class together so that you try to connect and then get your feedback on what we can be able to do as we move forward. Maybe I'm boring, things like that, but anyway. Mhm. Yusuf is not talking. Let us go for the next person. Joshua,
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for the class, sir. Sir, please, I really enjoy your class. I want to know if you can get the recording this evening, so we'll study along with.
Kindly iterate that. I'm not getting you.
Hello, I said I love your teaching and it's very straightforward. I want to know if you can get the recordings this evening, so I will study and make research along with it.
So it's a recording that it's currently being recorded. You're going to get the recording on the LMS. If you don't have access to the LMS as per now, I'm going to share it on a document. Then you can get it via the WhatsApp if you are in there or via the email.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Nice. Okay, let's go for the next person. That's the second person. Favor, talk to us.
All right. Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
All right. I wanted to ask because I've been running commands on JavaScript. So when you were running command, especially the command that included the object ID, it crossed the line, like the line crossed it. So whenever I console log it, it doesn't really. When I go to my this, I'm not actually referring to MongoDB. I'm referring to when I'm working on JavaScript with the HTML. The console side of it normally display undefined. So I was surprised when you were running EDA and it was working. So I wanted to ask if there is any controversy or there are some discrepancy as regards to that. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to get what you're trying to say. What is it crossing? Like, simplify the question, please.
So if you go back to what you did the other time when you were running your commands, you discover that there was can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, there's a particular command that you run that a line crossed the word, like a line crossed the object, like a line there was a line that crossed it. You understand? So I
Like
often run that while I'm
like this
working
one.
on yeah,
Like this one.
exactly. So I have to run that while I'm working on JavaScript, but it
Mhm.
normally gives me errors. So that is why I was surprised when you did that and it worked. So I wanted to know why.
Okay. I understand you now. I'm trying to bring it in the best way possible. How can I be able to answer it? So they strike through the line. So in JavaScript, when you see a variable with a strike through in VS Code, particularly in VS Code, it indicates that the variable is deprecated. It means deprecation. So this means that the variable is no longer recommended for use or might be removed in the future versions. So the deprecation doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It works, but what it means is that it is no longer recommended for use, number one. Number two, it might be removed in the next version, the future versions of the language or the framework itself. That's why you're saying it is being struck through. It is being prepped for removal. Have you understood?
Yes. Even when I did the research, it was the same thing that they told me. That is it depreciation
Yeah,
you called? Yes, that is what they told me.
yeah.
Thank you.
My Kenyan people, why are you? They don't want to talk. Let's go for Edin. Afternoon or evening, from where you are.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so I have problem with installing MongoDB. It has a problem. I have installed it already, but it's not working out. I have referred to ChatGPT and YouTube, but I didn't get the correct one. So can you help me?
What kind of voice are you using?
Windows.
Windows. Okay, unfortunately, your instructor is using Linux. Wow. Okay, but we have a fix for that. So what exactly is the issue? If you are able to share the screen, we can be able to help you as we move along. What exactly is the issue?
Okay, let me share. Can
Let
I
me stop
share my
sharing.
screen then show you?
Allow me, yeah, you can share, think so. Or allow me to promote you to panelists so that you can be able to share.
Okay.
You can join the panelist. Are you able to join as panelist?
But how?
I'm sending requests to you, like I'm promoting you, but
I
you're not doing it.
I have accepted it.
I cannot allow the entire crowd because they are going to misbehave. So that's why I'm promoting you to panelist, but it's not working. Why? You are rejoining now, yeah. It's telling me that you are rejoining as a panelist. We are waiting.
I can't see anything here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let me send another one. Because for me, it's telling me that you're joining like as a panelist, but you're not joining. I'm waiting for you to join. Are you using dual screens like another screen, maybe? Oh, the class is done. Let me stop the recording. For those who want to remain, they can remain, but let me continue the recording. For those who want to remain to see how we can be able to solve the Windows work part, we're able to do so. Okay, we're able to see your screen, Edin. You can just unmute yourself so I can be able to hear. But for
Okay,
others,
now it's
feel free.
okay.
For others, feel free to jump off the call. The session is done. But for those who are just curious to remain and ask questions and get feedback from other people, I'm sharing the link as we speak. You can spread it through the WhatsApp and so on. Continue.
This is the problem, sir.
Okay, you're saying the Windows installer server could not be accessed. This can occur if you're running Windows in a safe mode. Yeah, you have to disable your firewall. Or if your installer is contactable. Windows installer service. Wait, this issue. Let us see if you can go to debug. Let me request something. It's a bit cheeky, but might as well. I want to request something here. I don't know if it is possible for Zoom. Yeah, I'm requesting for remote control.
Okay.
Somebody is giving a fix on the chat, but that is ChatGPT saying that. This is why I don't like Windows. No hard feelings, but I don't like Windows for this main reason. Uh-huh. I'm not seeing the other option. Allow me to control. When you click somewhere, it removes the control. People are giving their own fixes on the Nini. All Windows. Okay. Almost done with the fix. I'm trying to run Windows R, kindly. Windows S rather. Windows R, yeah. Kindly run Windows R, press Windows R.
Okay.
Yeah, you just hit it. Okay, hit enter. What are you looking for? Locate Windows installer.
Windows installer or?
Yeah, Windows installer, where is it? You can just scroll down. Have you found it? I can see it. Let me control. The Windows installer is running. Don't know why it is not working. Let's restart it or what? Not seeing my cursor. Try to restart. Click restart the service on the left panel.
Okay.
Now, I want you to go to the command prompt, run the CMD as an admin. Open CMD on your shell and type CMD. Right click and run as admin. Okay. Allow me to type this command. Let me see. Okay, I realize that I'm not able to write. Go on the charts and copy and paste this. You are the panelist. You're able to see this. Type this on Zoom. Go to Zoom. Are you in Zoom? Okay. Now you have to now reboot your machine, and then everything is going to be okay. Yeah, I think from there now reboot your machine. If the issue persists, you see I'm not a Windows user, but we can always find somebody to help you. But I think this one should be able to fix it unless you reboot your machine. Is it in order, Edin? You're not able to talk.
Pardon?
I'm saying reboot your machine now and try it again.
How am I going to do?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, but how?
I'm saying reboot your machine, like restart your machine now.
Okay.
Anyway, we have one more question, then we can go to close it. Time is really much gone.
Hello, good
Hello.
evening.
Evening.
My issue is with installation. I thought I was going to be able to install the MongoDB, but I realized I don't have enough space. I need at least 3 point something gig, and my storage in my computer is very small. So even after deleting everything, I wasn't able to install it. So I don't know if I can use the online version. I think something like Atlas.
Yeah, you can just use the Atlas version. You can just go and use it. But now the limitation is that when you on free tier, it normally depletes, and yeah, it is going to be a problem most of the time.
Would it be sufficient if I also downloaded the extensions on VS Code? I don't know if that would be enough, but
It will work, but that's not enough. Just an extension is not the entire driver itself.
so what do I do? Do I install just the GUI without the other dependencies?
No, clear your space. That's the only solution.
I've done that already, but it's still not enough.
Uh, what's your total storage?
The entire storage is about the ones that I can use is about 15.
Like the entire storage, like total storage. How many gigs do you have?
The entire storage is about 28 gigabytes.
20 gigabytes. Wow.
And the one that the system is using is like half of it.
This is the problem about Windows. It's going to use everything, but your storage is so minimum.
It's so
Actually, it's
small.
not the requirement, but you can be able to use the online version for now. Just use it, but don't overuse it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, people. Thank you for listening in. Really glad. Let us talk on Friday. Same classes, 2 sessions. The first session is in the morning, which is pure content delivery. We are delivering content like just everything that you have to know. Then the afternoon one is now the hands-on, like the projects, to make sure that we are affirming what we learned in the morning as well. Now seeing how we can be able to bring in MongoDB with Express. How do they work together? Today you have seen how they work with JavaScript, but now with the MongoDB with Express, how they work together. And then we're going to call it a session. Thank you so much. See you on Friday.